So step 2 of making a cheese press, my way anyway, new to me, I'm going to make basically a sieve. So your cheese will set down, or you'll put your cheesecloth in your way, and you got to press it, so the water's got to go somewhere. So I marked all this out, and then realized I didn't really have to put all these lines on there with marks. I only need to do the first one. I'll show you why in a minute. But to get all these evenly spaced, you chuck it up in your lathe. And most lathes, I mean, you could do it with a ruler or something, but most lathes, if you've got a stop pin and you have an indexing lathe, notice how that locked. So if I do that, so you see they're evenly spaced all the way around. Mine happens to have 24 different spots in there. So, you know, on the evens and odds. So I'm going to show you how to avoid doing this. Now notice these holes line up going all the way through there. So you got an imaginary line, the access of your pipes, which is going to make a difference in just a minute. So we got a drill press. And let me get this in focus. And I made a V-block. So it's important to have this center line of this bottom centered up with your drill bit, first off. And then notice this pin right here that I've put in there. That's what I call an indexing pin. So it helps you find where you're at. So let's set this up here. Now, what I did first is, you know, you're going to need your first line, so you set it up, you go through and you'll drill your holes from your first line. Now, when you're doing that, you want to make sure that your pipe is actually setting in that V-block. Now, I've got a clamp on this, you know, really tight where that can't move. So both ends of the pipe, none of this, both ends setting in there. Don't drill through your hand, but I'm pushing down from the inside of the back of the pipe. So I'll get, like I said, go through, drill all your holes. Now this first line needs to be exact, and you need to try to get you a pin the same size as these holes. So you go through and you drill all them. And then you've got, notice your next set of holes are going to be offset. So if you want to, you can drill that second layer or drill at least one hole, however you want to do it. But what I did was I took my drill bit, I lined it up on that next hole, and I slid this forward, drilled my hole in there, got everything perfect, and then I marked my hole in the board. Then I put me a pin in there, a nail, ground the head off where it'll fit the hole. Now, I've moved this a little bit, so let me get this back set where it was. So notice that that hole lines up and the pin down here is in that position. So as I go through, drill that, I'll go to my next hole down here. So turn it, put it in my next hole that I've already drilled. And there you go. Notice you're drilling in the correct place each time. And once I get this row of holes done, I simply move to my next line and I'll put these holes. So I'll take that hole right there and I'll get on my next track of holes and I'll just go right on up the line around this, drilling them. Now these marks on here and my pin and stuff, you know, they may or may not quite line up, but I'll get my holes pretty evenly spaced. If you get everything exact, like exact placement of this, then all this will be really close. So anyway, that should save you a lot of time using an indexing pen, so you don't have to sit there and measure. So hope that helps somebody.